what we studied here is the Bravais lattice. That means a Bravais lattice infinite unique array of discrete points with an arrangement and orientation which looks exactly same at each point. Now we are trying to look at why whether it is unique or not. Now suppose we have this square as the lattice in the 2 dimension, and then we have a rectangle. So rectangle is essentially the one in which two sides are unequal, and the angle between two sides is say 90 degree. So if suppose this is one side is A and other side is 2A, so I can recreate sorry, the rectangle as combination of, I mean, if repeating the initial unit one time and the second time, okay, so then what is the unique arrangement? Unique arrangement is a square, okay. So in that sense it should be unique. So Bravais lattice is a unique arrangement of the lattice point in the 3 dimension in such a manner that the surrounding the orientation of all these points is exactly same from each point. So we looked at primitive and the unit cell primitive vectors. So for example, this is then we looked at the Wigner-Sittis unit cell. So Wigner-Sittis unit cell, how do you basically find out the unit cell arrangement? Suppose what we need to do, we need to suppose this is the point around which we are trying to find out the Wigner-Sittis unit cell. We need to connect this to its neighbors. In 2 dimension it has 6 neighbors, and then draw a line perpendicular to this line joining the 2 points, and the perpendicular bisector is again, so the area in the 2 dimension, the area enclosed in this region is the Wigner-Sittis unit cell, something like this. And if this unit cell is smallest, okay, primitive primitive unit cell means it is the smallest unit cell, smallest, containing at least one lattice point. For example, in this case, the example we have taken, both the square as well as the rectangle, both are the unit cells, but they are only the square is the Bravais lattice, and only square is the primitive unit cell. Both are unit cells, but only a square is the primitive unit cell, which is the smallest, at least containing one lattice point. So these things we looked at last time. So if we look at the honeycomb, the hexagonal structure, so this is the hexagonal structure, and of course we can, if we look at the 2 dimensions, we can cover 2-dimensional surface entirely by using a hexagon, right? So if we join hexagon by hexagon as shown in this figure, we can cover the entire surface. By that definition, a hexagon is a unit cell in 2 dimension, but it is not a primitive unit cell, right? So why not primitive unit cell? Because first thing, how many atoms per unit cell are there? For example, the individual atom, because it is bound to three sides, so 1/3 of the atom contributes towards the unit cell, So how many such atoms are there? So we have 6 such atoms. So there are two such atoms per unit cell. Okay, so in the hexagonal unit cell, it basically is said to be, suppose this is say this is the hexagon. So the unit cell in this case is the shaded region. If it is repeated 3 times, we can basically get the hexagon. So that is the primitive unit cell. Okay, so there are many unit cell for a lattice, but there is only one primitive unit cell, and uh, there could be only one Bravais lattice for a given lattice. So this is how the hexagonal this looks like. So this is the primitive unit cell. Primitive unit cell is the shaded region, for example. So I can have this from the top side, this, and of course the extension into 3 dimensions. So this is one of the unit cell, and similarly there are others. So the second unit cell is something like this, and the remaining one is the third one. So combining these 3 unit cells, 3 primitive unit cell, give us the unit cell which is hexagon. But it is more convenient to describe, because there is a rotation of the primitive unit cell that is required in order to complete the, say, 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, 2-dimensional surface or 3-dimensional volume. So using the hexagonal unit cell is more convenient. Okay, so this is what it, in 2 dimension we had seen there are oblique, rectangular, hexagonal, hexagonal. This is the oblique unit cell in the hexagonal, and then of course cubic. There primitive vectors. So this is the latest translational vector. So that means if you move from a point to this by this vector, we can reach an identical point in the lattice, which will be having these as the. Now let us look at very quickly at the different crystal structures. So there's a simple cubic. We all know this. It has 8 atoms at the corner. This is the naturally found, a very nice ferrous sulfide. This is S is capital, 2 is small. So ferrous sulfide crystal found in the rock. These are the naturally occurring cubic crystal, very nice and beautiful crystals. So we know this arrangement. There is the atom at each corner. So this is the crystal ball kind of model arrangement. So there are 8 corners, and each atom contributes 1/8. So totally you have 1 atom in the unit cell. So this is the primitive unit cell. Primitive unit cell, and because each corner is having 6 nearest neighbors along positive x, negative x, positive y, negative y, positive z, and negative z. Okay, so as the coordination number, we will calculate the packing density. Packing density basically, so this is packing density is how much of the volume is basically occupied by the atoms. So 4/3 pi r cube is the volume of the atom, because only 1 atom is occupied in the unit cell in total, and a cube is the volume of the unit cell. So basically, what is the correlation between R and A here. The correlation from the unit cell, we can see this edge length is A and this is 2R. So 2R is equal to A. So we can substitute this value in here, and we can get A cube is equal to 2R, so cube. So this is 8 R cube. So now if we uh, if we divide this by 8 R cube, so what we will end up having is, so this cancels out, and what we will be having is, so this is 2 4 by, yeah, 3. So pi by 6. So this is value of pi is 3.14 by 6. So the packing density is slightly higher than 50%. So that means most of the volume that is there in the cubic unit cell, that is vacant. So to be precise, we can the value of this ratio, and this is 3.14 divided by 6, which is equal to 52.3. So 52.3 is the packing density. This much percent of the volume is occupied, and this is also known as the isometric system, because each corner is symmetric, and from each corner you have the identical this thing to the surrounding. And the example of there are metals, for example, polonium, manganese, antimony, phosphorus, calcium, lithium, arsenic, selenium, etc. As they stabilize into simple cubic. Okay. And, the calculation of atomic radius or density of metal for, say, polonium or alpha polonium. So the edge length of the unit cell of alpha polonium is 336 picometer. That means 3.36 angstrom. Sorry, yeah, 3.36 angstrom. So if the edge length, this is the lattice parameter. So if the edge length is 3.36 angstrom, determine the radius of the polonium atom. So radius of the polonium atom will be how much? It will be half of this. So simply it will be 2, and this will be 1.6 or is 3 angstrom. So that is as easy. And we know this lattice parameter. We cannot find out the radius of the atom as such, but we can find out the lattice parameter through experimental means. So if we know, if we have the information about the crystal structure, so determination of the size of the atoms or the constituent is it becomes easy. And determination of the density of the polonium. So for example, this is 168 picometer, and density is mass per unit volume. So the density of the polonium atom can be found determining the density of the unit cell. So density of the unit cell, mass combined with the unit cell divided by the volume of the unit cell. So mass, for example, the mass of the polonium atom is approximately this 8.998 grams, and per mole of polonium. If we convert this into per mole, so per mole, I mean taking this much gram will be for the atomic weight of the polonium. So this much gram will be there. If we take into consideration the Avogadro's number, then we'll get this 3.47 into 10 minus 22 gram is the mass of polonium unit cell. Okay, so 208.998 is for 1 mole. That means so 208.998 divided by 6.023 into 10 raised to power 23. So if you work out this, so let me do it for you. So this is 208 divide 208.998 208.998 divided by 6.023 is equal to, this is equal to 3.469 into 10 raised to power 20 minus 22 grams. So this is the mass of a single unit cell, or because one unit cell contains one atom, so we have actually divided it by total number of atoms, and we got this value. So we now have the sorry, mass, and the volume is of course L cube. We know the site, and we can calculate the volume. So mass, that means this 3.469 divided by into 10 raised to power minus 22 divided by 3.79 into 10 raised to power minus 23. This is see, units need to be taken into account all the time. This mass is in the grams, so we are using basically CGS units. Okay, wherever you are doing any calculation, keep in mind, don't mix up the units. You may use any unit system, MKS, FPS, SI, CGS, etc., but keep everything in the same unit system. You cannot take one one physical quantity in, say, SI system, then other in a CGS system, and so on. So everything here is in CGS system, so we can proceed. So these two can cancel out if I multiply this numerator by 10. So this is 3.14 3.469 3.469 divided by divided by, what is that, 3.79 okay. So this is equal to 0.915 0.915 into this 10, so into 10, so this is 9.15 grams per centimeter cube. So if you take a centimeter cube of the crystal like this, what we have here in the in this image, it will weigh 9.15 grams or 16 grams. So 153, this is actually 9.153. So this could be slightly less than this, 153 grams per meter cube. So this is how the that the radius and the density can be calculated. So for the lattice vectors and lattice translational vector, we have seen this is simple cubic is the simplest of the unit cells. So lattice translation, suppose, we have studied about the lattice translation. So this gives us the idea how the position of the atoms in the lattice can be determined. So then comes the face center cubic. So face center cubic, in addition to the atom is the corner, there are atoms at each surface. So there are 6 faces like that, and so we have a total 4 atoms. I know you all know this. Face center, the atom contributes half. There are, because there are two faces uh, that are match, uh, meeting there, and so the atom is divided. The contributes half to each unit cell. So 6 into half plus 1 by 8 into 8. So total there are 3 plus 1, so total 4 atoms. And now there are 6 atoms at the center of the, okay, so 4 atoms is the unit per unit cell. So because there are more than one unit cell in the face center cubic, so this is a non-primitive unit cell, fine. And the coordination number is 12. Nearest neighbors are 12. So how these nearest neighbors are 12? Because this atom, suppose there is one atom in the center of the face, so near to that there are 4 atoms in the same along the same face. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that is these are the atoms. And then next nearest neighbors, because from here to here, how much is the the closest distance? Yeah, because the atoms doesn't meet. If you look at the unit cell, atom doesn't actually coincide along the side. They in the FCC they actually meet along the face center, fine. So the distance between the atoms, so the atom at the one center of the face is meeting, suppose the atom at this atom at the face center is meeting this and this 4 atoms at the one face, and all these 4 atoms in the layer that is above that, and similarly 4 atoms below layer. So there are 4 atoms in each layer, so the coordination number is 12. And this is also known as the cubic closest packing. So closest packing, if we try to calculate the packing density, so because there are total 4 number of atoms, and now they are meeting at these atoms are in contact through the center, and so this, suppose this side of the unit cell is how much, 4r, where r is the radius of the atom, and this side is a, so we can we know this 4r equal to by say Pythagoras theorem, so we can have 2a square is equal to 4r, basically yeah, 4r square. Yeah, so we can and the volume of the whole volume of the unit cell is again 4 by 3 by r cube. So I can find out the value of the, so this is the, and the total total volume is of the cube is again a cube. So I can write the value of a in terms of r. So this a, from this equation, a is equal to 16r square divided by 2. So this is 8r square. This is a, and then a cube is equal to, so this is, wait a minute. So this is 4r, yes, is equal to 4r square is equal to 2a square, correct? And then here 16r square divided by 2, so 8r square is equal to a, that's fine. So then a cube is equal to, so just to keep it a equal to r cube, no, r raised to power 6. Oh, yeah. Okay, so because there are square I can let me do it again. So 4r square is equal to 2a square. Okay, so I can write it, I mean taking the square root. So 2r is equal to under root 2a. So a is equal to r divided by basically root 2r. So root 2r is equal to a, yeah, and this implies a cube is equal to 2 root 2 r cube. So a is equal to, so what we obtained is this a, I'm writing everywhere in this slide, so please don't get confused. I'll let me erase whatever is. Yeah, so from here, yeah, so what we obtained here is a cube is equal to 2 root 2 r cube. So then this implies uh, 4 by 4 pi r cube divided by 3, then r cube, a cube is into 2 root 2 r cube and r cube cancels out, and we have 4 pi divided by 2 root 2. So you need to remember this root 2 is equal to 1.41410. So 4 into 3.14 divided by 3 into 2 into 1.410. So if you do the calculation, then this is 4 into 3.14 divided by 4.1, 1.41 is equal to this. कुछ गड़बड़ हो गया, so 3.14 is equal to divided by 6 is equal to divided by 2 So this will give you the packing density, which is 74% in case of FCC. So this is the closest one. So we don't have any structure that is closer, having the packing density more than this. So now this close packing, if we have the spheres of the same radius, and we try to arrange them in the space, so we can have the layers ABC ABC. We have studied this. ABC ABAB structure is the FCC, and ABC ABC structure is the hexagonal, and the lattice vector for lattice translation vector for FCC is given as this. So this is the normal standard lattice translation vector. So A1, A2, A3, and the basis represents the value of these vectors, the position of the individual lattice translation where the atom's location can be found out. So these are the, and it can be written this way. So A1 is equal to A by 2 xy. This because this is on the YZ plane, and YZ plane. So in YZ plane, for example, and this is A by 2. So equal. So this is suppose Y, this is Z. So this is the YZ plane, but this is A by 2. So at the center of the face you have one atom, other center of the face other atom, and so on. Body centered cubic. Similarly, we can find out the packing density, the coordination number, and the number of atoms per unit cell for the body centered cubic. So the packing density in the body centered case is 68%. 68%, and we need to remember the atoms does not basically touch either along the side of the unit cell or through the face of the unit cell. The atom basically touch one another through the body diagonal. Okay, so the body diagonal, if they are touching, so it is again basically 4R will be equal to now so this is 2A square okay, so will be equal to in this case under root 3A. Yeah, so the correlation between A and R will be this. Again, you will be applying the Pythagoras theorem along the body diagonal. So if we apply this suppose this is the to find out this. So this is A and A. So this will be under root 2A, and the side of the front face and side of the this right hand side face, they are both perpendicular to one another. Again, you can apply the Pythagoras theorem and you can calculate the body diagonal. So that will be equal to your 2, so under root 2A whole square plus again A square. So this thing becomes 2A square plus A square, which is 3A square, and this whole thing is 4 times the radius. So we need the value of say A in, so A will be equal to 4 by 3 R under root. Okay, so this is basically 2 by under root 3 into r, that is a. So simply putting this value into 4 by 3 pi by 3 pi r cube by again a cube, we can find out the packing density to be 68%, and that's how this thing. In this case, the one atom is at the center of the body, so you have 1 unit cell contribution from the body center, and the other 8 as usual in the like in the cubic, and these are the latest translation vector. So one of the atom is at the body center, so you need to go x-axis, then y-axis, then z, and half of that is the body center, and all others are at corners. R is equal to 0 represents the corners, so all the atoms are at the corners, equal to the number of corners, and one of the bases, that is the atom, is at the body center. This is how it can be represented as in hexagonal close packing and the FCC. So you have the ABC. So a cubic close packing will be having this. This right hand side is cubic close packing, and the left hand side is hexagon close packing. So both of these crystal structure have the same packing density, because but there, since their unit cell and all other things are different, so it is a different Gravis lattice. So this again says the simple hexagonal lattice. It contains say 2 atoms. 2 atom bases represent the closest approach of the series Hart spheres. So there is one layer, and on top of that, so there could be this could be the suppose the center of the second layer. If I join the center of the second layer, either surrounding this atom, the layer could be the center of the layer, the spheres in the second layer could be something like this. So essentially there will be something 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, or they could be shifted. Instead of this one, this could be shifted here, and that becomes ABC kind of this. So if they are exactly over one another, this is AB, and if this is not exactly above, this is slightly, there is another layer in between, so this B layer. So in total, taking the Gravis lattice, the total structure are 7. They are triclinic, monoclinic, orthorhombic, tetragonal, cubic, trigonal, hexagonal, and they have total Gravis lattice as 14. 14 Gravis lattice, 7 crystal structures, crystal systems, and they do have some symmetry operations that we will study in the classes to come. So it is actually very important to know how do we remember these crystal structure. We tend to forget if it's asked what is monoclinic, what is triclinic, what is hexagonal, and so on. So we need to remember there are 2 extremes. One is cubic, in which everything is equal to everything else, and so angles and sides all are equal, and angles are 90 degrees. Cubic. This is the most symmetric structure. Fine. And if you look at the other extreme, then we have the triclinic. Nothing equals the other one. So A not equal to B. So in this case, cubic, that is the most symmetric, and the triclinic most unsymmetric. I mean, in order to remember, these are the easiest one. In case of cubic, A is equal to B is equal to C, alpha is equal to beta is equal to gamma is equal to 90 degrees. So these two are easiest to remember. So I will simply strike them off because you people can with minimal effort you can remember it. Now monoclinic, if you remember this tri as 3, we know tri means 3, clinic is angle, in this is angle here monoclinic. Okay, monoclinic only one of the angle is not equal to 90 degree, others are equal. So mono means one, and one of the angle is not equal to 90 degree. In that sense you can remember, and everything else remains the same as the triclinic. So from the triclinic, slightly symmetric structure, that there are two angles that are equal to 90 degree, but the third one is not. Okay, so and from the cubic, if you know, if you have a cubic, if I you know have a cubic, I right now I don't have anything. Assume this is a cubic. If you stretch this, if you have a cubic having all sides equal, so if I stretch it at one side without changing the angles, I'm simply stretching one side, then where I will reach a tetragonal. This one of the side which is a C, this C side has been stretched, so it has become unequal both from A and B, and A and B still remain the same. So this is tetragonal. But if I further stretch the cube onto the other side, okay, so now B is also unequal, so I have orthorhombic. Okay, so from cubic to tetragonal, tetragonal to orthorhombic, and from triclinic to monoclinic, we have covered 5 crystal structure. No need to cram, it is easy to remember. Okay, and this rhombohedral or triclinic, they you can remember them kind of separately. Hexagon, if I have a hexagon, so in hexagon, basically this is a 2 dimension. If I extend this to 3 dimensions, so what happens? See, these two angles are 90 degree, fine, and the third angle, if I because there's another hexagon onto this side, this total angle is at which 3 sides are joining, so each angle is 120 degree, right? So this angle is 120 degree, other two are 90. So angle wise, alpha is equal to, say, beta is equal to 90 degree, and gamma is equal to 120. So we determined it from here. And as far as sides goes, A is equal to B, which are the sides of the plane at the base, and C is the angle which is along the vertical. So A is equal to B and not equal to C, that is hexagon. And for tetragon you can come from the cubic. You have, suppose, pushed or pulled the cube along the body diagonal, so that only angles are changed, all of the angle are twisted, not the sides, fine. So if you remember this crystal structure in this way, it will be easy to remember. Tomorrow we will look at it more closely. So hope you got what we discussed today. And any questions, because I think we are running time. We have already, I have a meeting at 3. So please keep your questions for tomorrow, because I need
No questions, sir.